Okay, today is November 8th, and so I had a glass of wine beforehand, so forgive me. Anyways, I'm just going to go through the books that I picked up today in no particular order. Some of them were in my subscription bag, and others I grabbed from the shelf. My subscription bag is Judge Dredd, and this is the Blessed Earth series. This is issue number 7. Judge Dredd wakes up hundreds of years in the future. Mega City is gone, and don't want to give a lot away, but it's odd, and you begin to wonder, is that really Dredd in the outfit? It's pretty good. I'm enjoying it. Okay, next is Scooby Apocalypse. If you haven't been reading this, you've really been missing out on a lot of fun. The Scooby Gang, in the near future, there's an apocalypse. And just about everyone on Earth has been turned into some sort of a creature, including some very familiar creatures from horror films. They're pretty mindless. Sometimes they're being controlled. But anyways, it's up to Scooby and the gang to try to find a cure and also survive. And they might not all make it. But this is the number 19. I'm enjoying it so far. So give it a try. Okay. This is Dark Knights, the Metal series. This is Batman Lost. I haven't read it yet, but I'm reading the other Metal tie-ins. Pretty much depends on who the writer is. Scott Snyder, of course, is a fantastic writer. He did this particular issue, so I'm looking forward to it. See what he has to do with it. This is a tie-in to the main series, Metal. We see various incarnations of Batman from the Dark Universe, and it's not bad. Also this week is Metal number 2, which is the main event title, which all the various Dark Knights issues have been building up to. We'll see how the Justice League has fared. If they survive, how this will affect everyone in the future. I'm also wondering about DC, how it's going to be affected in the future. This is Oz Effect number 5, which is in Action Superman, which I think is weekly right now, or he seems to be. It's okay. It's not great, I have to admit. I happen to like Dan Jurgens. He's a very good writer. But if it didn't directly tie into, excuse me, Doomsday Clock, I don't know if I would continue to pick it up. I'm not buying the fact. Well, I think we all know at this point that that's not really Jor-El, who was making himself as Dr. Oz. And actually, it took me a minute. I was talking to a guy at the comic shop about this being a lead-in. I was telling him I was reading the book. And he said, "Well, you check it out. It leads into the Doctor. I'm losing it. Losing to Doomsday Clock." And all of a sudden, it dawned on me the Oz Effect. Oh, and okay, so now we know who it is, just not why he's trying to get Batman, basically get Superman off the planet into some other realm or some other Earth. It'll be interesting to see how this wraps up and what's going to happen. And Fighting American, a Kirby Simon character, I think from the like the 50s, which was kind of a, he was an anti-commie fighter, and they've sort of taken that. And what would happen if a character who was pretty much created to fight the commies in the 50s somehow ended up in the modern era? we know what happened with Captain America in the MCU, but what about the Fighting American, who was sort of a Captain America takeoff? What would he be like? And what about a sidekick? Could he really survive in this era? And what happened to his friends and foes from the 50s? Are they still around? And two things I just want to point out. I got them last week. It's Jughead. It's The Hunger. Not directly a Afterlife from Archie tie-in, but same sort of world, supernatural. And anyways, it's pretty good. It's basically, it's in this case, it's Jughead isn't a zombie, as he is in Afterlife, but he's a werewolf. And it looks like Betty Cooper is actually a werewolf hunter, much like Buffy is a vampire hunter. And finally, DC House of Horror, where we have various DC characters in Tales of Horror. Not too bad. It's and like all anthologies, you got some good stories, you got some bad stories. But anyways, that's it for me and Princess. Good night until next week.